Hi, Mrs. Bolin here. Today we're going to talk about ergonomics, or how we can make small changes to our workstations to make us more comfortable. I know a lot of us are using flexible learning spaces right now and making a lot of changes to our house so that we can work from home. So hopefully I can show you some different things that you can use to make yourself more comfortable and some exercises you can do while seated. Stay tuned. For a lot of us without home offices, the dining room table has become our place of work. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is just to make sure that you have a nice clear area that's designated just for you and your workspace. So you might have to clear it off, and this is where you're going to work. It's helpful if this is not the area that you eat in, so maybe just pick a different chair of the dining room table. The first thing you're going to notice when I sit in the dining room chair, which the dining room chair is not made to be an ergonomic chair by any means, you can see that the table is fixed. You can't move it up or down, and the chair for me is too low. And you know it's too low because my forearms are not in line with the keyboard. See, my elbows are too low, and when this happens, you're going to have to raise your seat. And you can do that with a pillow. I have a firm pillow here that I can put in my seat, and let's see what that does. Oh, good. So that raises me up where my forearms are in line with the keyboard. That's great. But then you can kind of see that my feet are kind of dangling, and that's not good. We want nice firm support on the floor. So you can get a box, you can get a yoga block, which I have, or like a phone book. They make those anymore. And see, now my feet are supported here. A lot of people think that you should be sitting upright and have a 90-degree angle here, but that's not actually correct. While that might feel good to begin with, it can put a lot of pressure on your spine. So what you need to look for is about a 100-degree angle at your hip. So that is where you can comfortably sit and work for a longer period of time. You might also like a lumbar roll. So you can make a lumbar roll out of a folded up towel, or I actually found one on my daughter's bed, this squishy thing. So when you place your lumbar roll, if you prefer to have one, you want to put it right above where your belt would be, on the other side of your belly button. So that's about where the lumbar roll would be. So you just want to be able to sit comfortably with your arms in line with your keyboard. You don't want to rest your wrists on the table because your wrists have delicate nerves and exposed veins that you don't want to squish and irritate. So if you rest your hands down, you want to do it either on your palms or on your hands. You don't want to rest it on your wrists. So if you had like a washcloth, for example, if you wanted to put that in front of your keyboard just as a rest for the palms of your hand, you could do that. So let's talk about some flexible learning spaces that my kids have used in the house. A designated work area is ideal. It may not always be a bedroom. It could be, but even if it's not, just as long as the student knows they have a place they can go and work. So a nice quiet place that's set up just for them and their schoolwork, so that they know that's where they're ready to learn. But as you can see, let's get real. Setting up a perfect workstation at times doesn't even matter. They're going to move around anyway, find comfortable places on the couch, on the bed, and move around. So just let them do that. That's flexible learning spaces at its best, and I think that's fine. But for the longer work periods of time, especially for the older students, look for those really good workstation ergonomic designs that can make them comfortable, a place that they want to sit and work for a longer period of time. After 3 weeks of working at home, my husband tells me that his hips and knees were starting to hurt. And I felt awful that I hadn't even considered looking at his workstation. And when I went out to the porch to observe him, I saw that his hips were a lot lower than his knees. He was sitting in a patio chair, which is probably the worst chair in the house. And I just felt awful that I hadn't even considered putting him in a dining room chair or suggesting it to him. So after I suggested it and he sat in it, he immediately felt relief. He is tall enough that his forearms are in line with his keyboard. You can see that his eyes are at the top level of his monitors that he purchased. So it turned out to be a really good workstation. He's going to go to his workplace and get his nice ergonomic chair and bring it home, since he's going to be working from home for just a little bit longer. That's it for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, where we talk about some accessories you can purchase to make your workstation a little bit more comfortable and some exercises you don't want to miss out on. See you soon.